My parents thought they could use my past to blackmail me forever, so I flipped the script and used it to destroy them. When I was a junior in high school, my physics teacher impregnated me. He had me convinced we were in love, that we would travel the world, but the day I came to him with the 2 pink lines, he left the school and never came back. And my parents, well, they took a $100,000 settlement off the school in exchange for signing a contract stating I was prohibited from going public with this information. Fast forward 9 years. I was working as a nurse during the day and cleaning offices at night to keep my head above water. Every month, I handed over nearly half my paycheck to my parents, who claimed they couldn't survive on their pensions, rent, utilities, groceries, medical copays, the works. Meanwhile, I was skipping meals so my 8-year-old daughter Emma could eat. Speaking of Emma, she got sick, really sick. The doctor said she had an aggressive form of leukemia that required immediate treatment. The medication alone was going to cost thousands every month, and that was with insurance. I went to my parents and explained the situation. I asked if they could just temporarily reduce what I was giving them so I could afford Emma's treatment. That's when they dropped the bomb. They sat me down in their living room with these cold, calculating expressions and told me that if I reduced their support by even $1, they would tell Emma and the entire extended family about her father. They would expose everything about what happened to me in high school. They said they had protected my reputation as a W word for years, and I owed them for that silence. I completely broke down. The thought of Emma finding out that her father was my teacher who abandoned us was unbearable. In my family, if people found out I had been manipulated and used as a teenager, I would be shamed and maybe even excommunicated. So I took out payday loans. I maxed out credit cards. I borrowed against my car. Anything to keep paying my parents while trying to afford Emma's treatment, but it wasn't enough. Emma's condition started getting worse because I had to delay some of her medications. She was missing school constantly and losing weight. I was working 80 hours a week and barely sleeping. My parents kept demanding more money, claiming their costs were increasing. They even wanted me to take a second mortgage on my house. One night, Emma collapsed at school and had to be hospitalized. While I was sitting in the hospital waiting room, a social worker started asking questions about why Emma's treatment had been inconsistent. I was so exhausted and stressed that I almost broke down right there. That's when I found the receipts. I had borrowed my parents' car to drive to the hospital because mine broke down, and when I was cleaning out some trash, I found restaurant receipts from expensive places, casino parking stubs, movie tickets, all from the past month when they claimed they could barely afford food. I started investigating. I followed them one afternoon and watched them walk into a casino. I documented everything, the gambling, the shopping trips. They were living it up on my money while my daughter was dying. But when I confronted them with the evidence, they didn't even try to deny it. Instead, they doubled down on the blackmail. They threatened to call child services and report me as an unfit mother. They said they would destroy my nursing license by claiming I was unstable. They demanded I sign over the deed to my house or they would ruin me completely. That's when something snapped inside me. I realized they had been systematically destroying my life for years. They had taken money that was meant to compensate for my trauma and used it to fund their lifestyle. Then they spent nearly a decade exploiting that same trauma to control me. So I started recording our conversations. I gathered all the evidence of their financial abuse. I couldn't afford a lawyer, so I became a professional internet sleuth and learned that what they were doing to me was actually illegal. Financial exploitation, extortion, the whole thing. Then I called a family meeting. I invited all my aunts, uncles, and cousins. Everyone who had spent years praising my parents for being such generous grandparents while judging me for accepting their help. And at this family meeting, I played the recordings. I showed the receipts. I explained how they had been stealing money meant for Emma's cancer treatment to fund their gambling addiction. And then I told them the truth about the school settlement, how my parents had been paid $100,000 to keep quiet about a teacher who assaulted their daughter. Money they had hidden and spent while forcing that same daughter to work herself into the ground to support them. The room went completely silent.